Welcome, everybody, to the Billy Fager Fieldhouse. Dan Fitt along, going to be joined here shortly by Keith Smith. Mike out tonight. He's got a son getting married tomorrow, so Mike out in Wichita getting prepared for that. Is tonight St. Paul Lady Indians and boys welcome in the Olpie Eagles, which will be one of the toughest matchups of the year for the girls and the boys here so far. Olpie comes in 6-0 on the season, or undefeated on the season. Indians with just one loss. They looked at avenge a loss at Olpie, where Olpie quite handled the Indians on the road last year, so the Indians look to have a little better showing here tonight. Olpie went into the state tournament last year undefeated, got beat in the first round by a very good Hanover team, so a very good Olpie team with a lot of wins, not very many losses, a traditional program up there at Olpie. The Indians with the traditional program of themselves, they look to have a better showing here tonight as we are about 3 minutes till starting lineups and tip-offs. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as we get back into the full swing of basketball after the winter break, or the holiday break, I should say. St. Paul coming out of that preseason tournament, having a couple more victories before they went into the break, and now tonight, we'll play tonight, and then a makeup game at Uniontown Monday night, no game Tuesday, and then back on the road Friday night, and it'll be a full schedule right after that. As we get starting lineups, Indians playing pretty well this year, a little bit hit and miss, had a down game against Columbus in the preseason tournament. They look to become a little more consistent on the season, especially offensively. Defensively, they've played well all year long in that tight man-to-man defense that the Indians play, but offensively they've been a bit inconsistent. We're set for the national anthem, so we're going to go ahead and take a 2-minute time out for the national anthem. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul Indian basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse as the national anthem has been sung by Miss Jenny Vitt. And we are set to get underway here with starting lineups First starter for the Opie Eagles is Macy Smith, a junior. For St. Paul senior Taylor Watrick. Second starter for Opie, number 10, Camelia Steffs. She is a great shooter for the Opie Eagles. Second starter is Emily Hutcherson for the Indians of St. Paul senior. For Opie, number 22, Maya Bishop, another junior. So 3 juniors on the floor so far for Opie. Third starter for the Indians, Claire Bradshaw, the sophomore. Number 23, Haiti Fisher, another junior for the Eagles. A very young squad on the floor so far for the Eagles. A sophomore, Emerald Struthers, for the Lady Indians. Last but not least, a junior Broyles, Lauren Broyles, another junior. So 5 juniors on the floor to get the start for Opie and for the Indians. Last but not least, number 33, Katie Coombs, the senior, gets the start for the Indians. We look for a good matchup here tonight. Hopefully the Indians can get off to a little better start than they did last year against a very hot shooting team for Opie. They are going to shoot the basketball, and they're going to play hard. They are well coached, fundamentally sound, so it's going to be a tough matchup for the Lady Indians. But see who comes off with the holiday blues here as everybody tries to knock the rust off here off of the holiday break. 8 minutes on the clock. Last meeting with the coaches. The players gather around each coach as they take the floor as we are set for tip-off. Coombs set to tip off against Bishop for the Eagles. On the floor for the Indians, Watrick, Coombs, Hutcherson, Bradshaw, and Emerald Struthers. 8 minutes on the clock as we finish things up. Keith here to join us. Welcome to the announcing stand, Keith.
Thank you.
As we are looking for a better matchup here between the Indians of St. Paul and the Eagles of Opie. Tip is controlled by the Opie Eagles. Swings off to Smith at right wing. She takes the point now, and she swings it over to Bishop as they quickly come around to the right side, back up to the top. One dribble back to Smith, the left baseline. She drives the baseline, shot up, and right up and through there, and Opie is off to a 2-0 start. A little full court man-to-man pressure as Watrick brings the ball down court against Smith. See if the Indians can get off to a more consistent start here offensively. Struthers with the ball up top to Bradshaw. Swings it around to Hutcherson at right wing. Very patient start for the Indians as they play out wide. Opie sags back off. Now Struthers up the timeline. Dribbles to her left. Now back to the right to Hutcherson. Hutcherson into the lane. Tough shot up. Can't get it to go. Gets her own rebound. Feeds it off to Bradshaw. Tough shot up by her. No call. Knocked out of bounds. It's going to be off of Struthers and go back to Opie.
Opie traditionally has pretty good athletes up there. They seem like they always do well in football anyway.
Smith with the basketball. Opie leads 2-0. Swings it off to Bishop. Now up to Broyles. Broyles holds it over her head. Feeds it over to Fisher. Fisher whips it back around to Steffs. Back to Fisher, now inside to Broyles. She dribbles in against Coombs, shot up and in there.
That's what St. Paul needs to do right there, Dan. They just need to get it inside and finish.
Broyles took it right at Katie Coombs, backed her down in there, and right off the backboard she went. Now Watrick in towards the elbow, feeds it to Struthers. Back up top to Bradshaw. Bradshaw loses it, feeds it off to Struthers. Now Watrick behind the back dribble, into the lane, shot up, no good, rolls off, and she's going to go line shoot 2.
Opie putting together a pretty good-looking zone tonight. They're really denying anything inside the free throw line.
Indians cannot stand to fall too far behind against the Opie Eagles. They're going to have to be consistent on offense. And Watrick's first free throw is off the side of the iron. No good. Opie leads 4-0. 6:20 left to go here in the first period. Watrick settles in for her second. It's on its way. Short, no good, but Struthers chases it down, loses it, gets it back to Watrick, and then she loses it. Turnover, feeds it to Fisher. Fisher for the Eagles, brings it down the right side, cross-court pass back up top to Steffs. Now over to the left baseline, looked like a travel, no call. Fisher, wild shot, it's no good. Hutcherson with the rebound for the Indians. Hutcherson drives down the right side of the court. As I remember last year when the Indians went up to Opie, they just could not miss from the outside. They just made everything that they shot from the outside. They consistently score 60, 70 points. And Struthers gets the Indians on the board with a 3 off the backboard, and the Indians trail by 1, 4-3. So
That's
you
what
know,
St. Paul needed right there. Yeah.
you know they're very good and consistent on offense when they score in the 60s and 70s every game, and they've continued that this year. Smith all the way to the rim, layup no good. It's going to be a foul on the floor. First team foul on the Indians. See who it's on.
Looks like Katie Coombe, possibly.
And it is on Coombs, her first team foul number 1. No, it's on number 30. It's on Struthers, excuse me. Smith swings it off to the right. Number 20 in the game now, Davis, Neela Davis. Good pass inside, layup's no good. Hutcherson loses it out of bounds as she had the rebound.
It's right
Lost
in her
it
hands,
out of bounds.
Just right in her hands is too easy, and she does.
And it's going to go back to Opie as Hines checks in, another junior. So far, every sub in the game except for Davis, excuse me, she's a senior, but 6 juniors in the rotation. Very young squad for Opie. Smith with the ball, dribbles to her left, pulled up. Watrick cuts her off, feeds it off to Fisher. Now back up to Smith. She looks inside. Now she pulls it out to the free throw line. Off to number 20, drives the baseline, cross-court pass, shot on the way, no good, short. Watrick chases it down. Now she's knocked down. Smith takes it away from her. Smith all the way in, layup good. Could have been a foul on Smith against Watrick as she is knocked to the floor, but no call, and Opie leads 6-3. Watrick kicks it out to Struthers, cross-court pass to Hutcherson, down to the corner to Bradshaw. No subs in the game yet for the Indians. Indians will get young. Bradshaw goes to the rim, gets it knocked out of her hands. Out to Coombs. Three-point shot on the way off the rim, no good. Struthers with the rebound, feeds it to Hutcherson, drives the baseline, floater up, off the rim, no good. Katie Coombs with the rebound, brings it to the floor, and she's going to be fouled on the floor, and she ends up on the floor, as that's going to be a foul on Maya Bishop, the junior. Second team foul on the Eagles. First on Bishop as Elise Doherty checks into the game for the Indians.
Yeah, Katie went down hard on that one. Hopefully she can take that off and come back at him.
6-3, Opie up by 3. Watrick feeds it into Doherty. Back to Watrick in the corner. She guarded out there by Smith. It's always interesting in a game like this how the referees will officiate it. So far they've let it be pretty rough on the inside. We'll see if that continues. Just 3 team fouls called altogether. Bradshaw with it, with her left hand, drives to the free throw line, and brings the ball down. Now she loses it, steal by Smith. Smith, one-on-one, left-handed layup, no good, and Coombs with the rebound. Coombs feeds it off to Hutcherson. The Indians going to have to clean it up offensively. They're driving down into a lot of traffic and getting it stolen away from them. Watrick with the basketball. They need to be aggressive going to the rim, but if you're going to go to the rim, they need to continue on. Opie in a man-to-man, kind of a sagging man-to-man, and it's going to be an offensive foul on Coombs.
That's kind of interesting. After all the contact at both ends, and you make that call, but I didn't see it, so I can't say.
A call away from the basketball. 6-3, Opie with the lead as Albertini and Harris checks in. Albertini picks up Smith, tries to feed it across down low. Now a three-point shot on the way right through there by number 20, Neela Davis, a senior. 9-3, Opie up by 6.
It seems like St. Paul's got lard on their hands or something. They just cannot hold on to the ball.
Another steal by the Eagles, and that's going to be a foul on Katie Coombs, and she picked up her second foul. It's going to be on the floor on the reach around as the Indians and yet have another turnover against them as Coombs is going to come out. Struthers goes back in. 3:01 left to go in the first. 30-second timeout. Coach Tuck will be back after this 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse, where the Indians trail 9-3, and Opie has possession of the basketball. Macy Smith with the ball for the Eagles of Opie. Screen set off to the corner. Three-point shot on the way, off the rim, no good. Backside rebound, pulled down by Hines. Now Smith back with it, feeds it down to the corner to Fisher. Now Smith into the lane. Good feed down low to Fisher, and she scores, and the score is 11-3, 8-point lead for the Eagles of Opie.
St. Paul is leaving a hole down there in that zone, and Opie able to take advantage of it.
Albertini with the basketball. Feeds it off to Harris. She gets it poked away from her. Now back up top to Doherty. Indians need to be more aggressive and less passive on offense here. Take it to this aggressive Eagles team. Good shot by Struthers. Now Harris with the rebound, but she's going to be fouled. And it'll be on the floor, I believe it is. So St. Paul will have the basketball under their own rim. First foul on Smith as Harris and Albertini come out, and Watrick and Claire Bradshaw check back in for the Lady Indians. 2:09 left to go in the first, 11-3 as Watrick looks to get it in, finally gets it into Doherty. Feeds it to Hutcherson at left wing. Emily needs to, some of the seniors need to step up here for the Lady Indians. Feed inside to Bradshaw. Bradshaw almost loses the footing. Bounce pass back out to Watrick. Three-point shot on the way, long, no good. Bradshaw with the rebound all the way back into the rim. Layup, good. Now Watrick ends up on the ground. Need to turn around and help her here as Smith with the basketball. Now Watrick recovers, picks her back up. Screen set by Bishop, excuse me. Now off to Fisher. Fisher back up. Long three-point shot off the rim, no good. Doherty with the rebound. That shot put up by Neela Davis, the senior. Watrick with it. Spin. Oh, that's not a charge. As Smith flops on the ground on the spin move, and she gets the call. She tried that down low against Harris when the ball was loose on the floor, and she gets the call to go as she does a pretty good acting job and got the charge against Watrick. Three-point shot, top of the key on the way, off the rim, no good. Tipped around, controlled finally by Doherty, now slapped out of her hands, and she feeds it off to Watrick. That shot put up by number 21, Hines, for the Eagles. Watrick with the basketball, feeds it to Doherty, ball fake, drives towards the free throw line, kicks it out to Hutcherson. Now Struthers top of the key over to Bradshaw. Bradshaw into the elbow to Watrick. Watrick drives the elbow, kicks it out to Hutcherson. And she's going to get called for the walk. And another turnover on the Lady Indians gives it right back to the Eagles of Opie. 11-5, 6-point lead for Opie. 43.2 left to go in the first period.
St. Paul looks out of sorts. This is the kind of competition you're going to play in sub-state and state, so they got to get it together here.
Boy, there's a moving screen, got away with it. Davis with it off to the corner, three-point shot on the way, off the top of the backboard. That should have been out of bounds.
They don't
right off short on the putback. That putback was put up by Bishop, excuse me. And there's going to be a foul on Smith.
Smith was all over her, hacking at her. And I'm thinking, how is this not a foul? And down the other end. But anyway.
Second foul on Smith, fourth team foul on the Eagles. 4 team fouls on each team as Coombs is on the bench with St. Paul with 2 fouls. Now Smith also takes a seat on the bench, picking up her second foul. Could have her third if she wouldn't have got the charge call against Watrick. Now, three-point shot by Struthers online and right through there. She buries a three with 4 seconds left. Indians need to get their hands up on defense. Feet up top. There's a walk and got away with it, but it goes out of bounds at the buzzer. And at the end of one, 11-8, Opie leads by 3. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse. Smith's back in the game for the Eagles of Opie with 2 fouls. See if Watrick can take it to her early on here. St. Paul with the basketball to start this second quarter. They trail by 3, 11-8. Emerald Struthers, 6 points on the night for the Lady Indians, and Coombs gets it slapped away and stolen from her, and that's going to be a foul on the floor, and that's going to be on Katie Coombs. She just picked up her 3rd foul as she lost the basketball and then reached in the first 15 seconds of the second quarter. She's back on the bench with 3 fouls.
Just not a good foul. She's way behind her and stuck a hand in there and grabbed her in the arm.
You could use the complaint that Opie's doing a lot of reaching, pulling that ball away, but the bottom line is she lost the basketball and then she fouled. As number 21 promptly just steps back Hines from just outside the elbow and makes a 2-pointer and gives Opie a 5-point lead, 13-8. Hines, a good shooter. Points on the night for Opie. Hutcherson to Bradshaw to Struthers. She got away, I thought she got away with the travel, but she didn't. As a delayed call, it gets whistled for a travel, and another unforced error on the Indians gives the ball right back to Opie.
She just put that ball against her body and took off and didn't get a chance to get it on the floor.
So far, that's a difference in the ball game, as Opie does not have any forced errors of their own. They don't turn the ball over much, and the Indians have turned it over quite a bit.
Ooh.
There's a walk. As I speak, she gets called for the travel, does Hines.
I was worried they weren't going to call that. That was a jump stop plus.
13-8, 5-point lead for the Eagles. 7 minutes left to go before halftime. Watrick with the basketball, feeds it off to Bradshaw. See how the Indians cope without much size on the inside with Coombs on the bench, where she has been much of the night here so far.
Bradshaw. St. Paul just can't run their offense tonight. I don't know what's going on with that.
Need to be more aggressive against this man-to-man, not be afraid. They're doing a lot of passing outside the arc. They need to get that basketball down in there. A lot of sag and help defense by the Opie Eagles. Watrick with the basketball against Smith. Drives the baseline, gets right past her. Euro step, shot up, no good, right over the rim. Rebound comes to Bishop. Now Smith pushes the ball down the floor for the Eagles. 3-point shot on the way by Hines, and she nails it. That's not Hines, excuse me, that's number 23, Fisher. And that's what you get when you leave them open from the outside. Not very often do they miss. Bradshaw with the basketball, 16-8, 8-point lead for the Eagles. Feeds it to Doherty, now off to Watrick. Hutcherson been awful quiet here tonight. Struthers with the basketball, drives in the lane, feeds it across to Doherty, back up top to Emily Hutcherson. Now Hutcherson drives in the lane, shot up, good as I speak. Emily Hutcherson goes hard to the basket, gets her first 2 points of the night. 6-point lead for the Eagles, 16-10. Smith feeds it off to Bishop, who hands. Shot on the way, too hard, no good, out of bounds, off of Opie. That shot was put up by Neela Davis, the senior. As Lauren Broyles, the junior, checks back in. She's going to come in for the hot shooting Marley Hines, the junior, as St. Paul looks to cut into this Opie lead. Watrick with the basketball.
Just come over with 2 here. You get it down to 4. Chip it down. Halftime, go in tied or up a little bit.
Doherty feeds it around to Bradshaw. Bradshaw at right wing, feeds it up top to Struthers. Back to Watrick, couple ball fakes. She crosses over, loses her footing, keeps her pivot foot, bounce pass, and stolen away. Good hands as she tried to feed it out to Struthers. Now Smith streaks down the floor with it, all the way in. Layup no good, short rebound Broyles. She's fouled, and she makes it. Indians don't block out as Smith does them a favor and misses the layup, but the Indians can't secure the rebound, and with Coombs out of the game, Broyles with the size gets the rebound, gets the foul against Elise Doherty. 16 foul on the Indians, and she'll get the and 1. Try to make this a 9-point lead for the Eagles of Opie. Settles in at the line. It's on its way. Boy, it's a violation, and it was a violation as Davis was in there way early for the Eagles. 18-10, 8-point lead for the Eagles.
You're right. St. Paul gets down there and just so pensive against this defense. It's like they've never faced anything like this before.
Watrick bounce pass in to Struthers. She faces up, feeds it back to Watrick. Watrick guarded out there by Hines. drives towards the right, now up towards the top of the key, above the timeline. And that's going to be a foul on who? And that's going to be a push on number 23, Fisher. 15 foul, first on hers, 5th on the Eagles. Watrick with the basketball under their own rim and feeds it off to Hutcherson. Hutcherson off to Struthers, over to Doherty. Now Bradshaw drives the baseline. Boy, a lot of contact. Cross-court pass to Watrick. Sets her feet, three-point shot. Ooh, off the rim, no good. Struthers chases it down for the Indians. Feeds it in, and it's off of Opie. Broyles and stay with the Indians.
Broyles just has quite a height advantage down there. Anything goes up there, she's going to get her hands on.
Three-point shot by Bradshaw off the inbounds, and she buries a three. Now a whistle.
Delay a game warning, he said. I don't know.
Delay a game warning on Elise Doherty. She must have touched the ball after it went through the basket. As no harm, no foul. 18-13, 5-point lead for the Eagles of Opie. 4 minutes left to go before halftime. Smith with the basketball for the Eagles. Oh, good feed inside. Shot up, no good. Gets her own. She walked with. Oh, no call foul.
Yeah.
She took 4 steps before she got the put back up. It's going to be on the floor. Good feed inside for Bishop, Maya Bishop. And that's going to be a 1-and-1. As they call Hutcherson for the foul. 17 foul on the Indians. That's going to send Maya Bishop to the line to shoot the front end of 1-1. 17 foul on the Indians.
I tell you, the Indians just not aggressive like they normally are, and they're not blocking out. They're not guarding the basket.
Bishop misses the free throw. Struthers with the rebound. Now Hutcherson with it. All the way into the rim. Shot up, no good. Too hard. Rebound, Opie. Smith with the basketball. She streaks it down the floor, feeds it to Davis. Davis in, gets it stripped away. Ball's loose on the floor. Now Watrick chases it down. Watrick kicks it out to Hutcherson. They set up the offense. Over to Doherty. Doherty holds it against Bishop. Hands it off to Watrick at top of the key. 3:33 left to go before halftime. 5-point lead for Opie. Bradshaw behind the back dribble at the elbow. Thought about the shot. Pulled back now. Hutcherson three-pointer. Ooh, off the back rim. Man, that was a high arcing shot. Headed right for the basket and went off the back of the rim. The rebound comes out to Opie.
St. Paul just not catching any breaks right now.
Smith with the basketball. Feeds it off to the right wing. That's number 21. Hines with it. Back out to Neela Davis, guarded by Hutcherson. She's cut off now. Feeds it to Smith. Now Hines, three-point shot by her. Short. Nobody underneath. Put back. No good. Davis gets her own rebound. No good. Now somehow the Indians come out of there with it as Davis missed 2 putbacks for Opie. Now cross-court pass over to Bradshaw. Drives the baseline. Kicks it out as Davis jerks on her jersey for Opie. Telling her coach he needs out. Dangerous cross-court pass over to Struthers. Indians look a little fatigued too. Struthers towards the free throw line. Kicks it out to Hutcherson. Hutcherson into Bradshaw. Step back shot by her, short. Poked away by Good. Hustle by Struthers. 3-point shot by her, off the rim, no good. Doherty tries to chase it down, but it comes out to, a lot of contact. That's off of Opie. Oh, they're going to call it off of St. Paul.
Wow.
All the contact was initiated by Hines.
Yeah.
Hines just went blowing down the court. 2 Indians standing down there. And went off her leg, but it stays.
Whoever got knocked down by the Indians, I didn't see who it was totally set.
But it's going to stay with Opie, as they said it went off the. Now all kinds of confusion on Opie's. Davis wanted out. She gets to come out. Opie trying to get it inbounds. It's going to be a kick out of bounds off of Elise Doherty. Davis right back in the game. She just called to get out of the game. She's going right back into the game. She checks back in for Viola Fritz, the junior. Opie, basketball. Smith with it up a timeline. She's playing with 2 fouls. Done a good job this whole quarter, not picking up a third, being very careful. Back up to Davis. Davis guarded by Hutcherson. Kicks it back out to Smith. Now a three-pointer off from the left guard. No good.
Oh,
Struthers with the rebound. Boy, she got away with a walk as Bishop misses the three for the Eagles of Opie. 1:46 left to go before halftime. 5-point lead for Opie. We've been stuck on this score for a couple minutes now. The Indians need to cut into this 5-point lead. Watrick with the basketball, doing a lot of dribbling up above the timeline. Crosses over. Bounce pass into Struthers. Struthers feeds it off to Hutcherson. Hutcherson all the way to the rim. Layup good.
Good. Nice play. That's the way to work the offense.
Right back down comes Smith. 18-15, 3-point lead for the Eagles of Opie. And there's going to be another foul on Bradshaw. It's going to send Davis to the line, or excuse me, it's going to send Bishop to the line to shoot the 1-on-1.
They weren't calling these earlier. It didn't seem like, Dan, on either side.
First foul on Claire Bradshaw. Bishop missed the front end of 1-on-1 just a second ago. 1:14 left to go here before halftime. 18-15, 3-point lead for Opie. Shot on the way. Off, no good. Hutcherson with the rebound. 1:11 left to go before halftime. Indians with the basketball. They trail by 3. Struthers with it. Feeds it up top to Watrick. She about loses it off her hands. Gathers it back up. Feeds it to Doherty. Indians being very patient here. Trying to burn a little clock. Indians not near as deep as Opie off the bench. Hutcherson with it now. No unforced errors. Bradshaw with it. Dribbles with her left hand. She loses it. Picks it back up. Feeds it off to Hutcherson. 43 seconds. Oh, Claire Bradshaw, and then too late.
Wow.
She was open as Bishop was sitting on the floor. And she clapped 3 times, and at the 4th clap, by that time she got back up. Now inside, she loses it. That's got to be a walk, and it is on Broyles, or on Bishop, Maya Bishop, and it's going to go back to the Lady Indians.
This looked like it was going to be a blowout.
That's kind of the difference between the Indians and Opie. Keith is Claire Bradshaw off the fall down by Bishop was wide open, and the Indians so set and running an offense or a particular set play that sometimes you forget just to play basketball and hit the open man, and waited too long to do it. Hutcherson into the rim again. She loses it. How's that not a jump ball or something?
Wow.
And they let it go. There's a double dribble. Cross court pass, 3-point shot behind. It's good.
She had her foot on the line, yeah.
2-pointer, yeah. And they do call it a 2, and it's good at the buzzer. So at halftime, 5-point lead for Opie. They lead 20-15. We'll be back with your halftime stats and show after this 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse here. We are at halftime where Opie leads St. Paul 20-15. Indians able to convert there late in that second period. And at the buzzer, Hines hits a 2-pointer to give Opie a 5-point lead in a good basketball game. First half of basketball so far here tonight. The Indians holding Opie to 20 points. That's a pretty good indication how good their defense is playing, but offensively they need to get a little more consistent, cut down on the very good Opie defensive team, cut down on the turnovers. Too many turnovers on the night for the Indians so far. That's the difference in the game so far, Keith.
Yeah, and St. Paul not finishing at the basket. I think I counted about 8 baskets they had under the basket. Probably 3 or 4 or 5 of them were bunnies that should have been finished, but either they went up too strong because they were expecting too much defense on it, or they went up too soft and just couldn't get to the rim. And there's 6 points if you count if you make 2 of those, 3 of those 8. So we're ahead by 1 point. By the same token, Opie, in the middle of that first quarter, looked like they were going to blow this thing wide open. I thought we'd be down by 15, 20 points, but St. Paul able to come back a little bit and put some offense together. Some outside 3-point shooting, I think, made them a little more honest down low, able to get St. Paul some area down below, but we still didn't make many of those layups.
Yeah, Opie is led by as many as 9 on the night. The Indians has kept that within 3 a couple times, and right now the score stands at a 5-point lead for Opie, 20-15. Indians just need to get a little more consistent on offense. Defensively, they're playing fine. They need to do a little better job blocking out on keeping Opie from getting too many second chance points. Katie Coombs needs to get back into the game, try to play clean here in the second period, or in the second half, excuse me. She has 3 fouls. The only Indians in real foul trouble. 18 fouls on the Indians in the first half, 5 on Opie. The Indians not to the free throw line very many times because they're not calling a lot down around the basket or on the aggression towards the basket. Just a few one-on-one free throws shot by Opie, and a couple of them missed, which has helped the Indians as Bishop and missed front end of a one-on-one down the stretch there twice, give Indians possession of the basketball. So if the Indians clean turnovers up here and get a little more consistent offense, they'll be fine here in the second half of this ball game. There's about 6:55 left to go before the second half. When we come back from this next break, we'll have all of the halftime stats for you after this 2-minute timeout in the St. Paul basketball on Hot 105.
Six players? Oh, okay.
A lot more than 6, Key.
Oh, yeah. Well, I knew that wasn't right, but I thought.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse here, where Opie leads St. Paul 20-15. First half scoring pretty easy to call here. Just 3 Indians on the scoring side. Hutcherson with 4, Struthers with 6, and Bradshaw with 5 for the total of 15. The Indians shooting 6 for 17 for field goals, 35%. 3 from 11 for 2-point land, 27%. 3 for 6 from 3-point land, 50%. So that just shows you the Indians need to clean up those bunny shots down around the hoop and inside the arc, only shooting 3 of 11. The Indians have only shot 2 free throws. 0 for 2 is Watrick on the night. And the Indians have committed 8 turnovers in that first half, 8 fouls, 15 rebounds, 9 defensively and 6 offensively. So pretty good rebound total for the Indians, but not a lot of shots at the basket and too many unforced errors on offense. Caused too many turnovers, Keith.
That's right, and you can bet Coach Tuck is really laying the wood to them about blocking out underneath. And boy, how many times do we see Opie taking a long shot at Karamov, and there's two Opie players down there. They're uncontested on the rebound, on the offensive rebound. And I'll tell you what, some of the good things that did happen was on some of those three-point shots, the ball jumped out so far away from the hoop that St. Paul's able to get the rebound on that. And had it not been for that, I think we'd see another 5-point differential in this game.
Indians playing hard here tonight, need to try to find their stride offensively, get back into the groove of the game in this second half, as we are about 3 minutes until the second half tip. So we're going to take one more break. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Two minutes, man. Thanks. It's all right. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse, where we are set to get underway in this second half. The only Indian in any foul trouble is Katie Coombs with 3. Every other Indian that has a foul only has 1. So Indians will start with possession of the basketball. Nope, it's going to be Opie's starting with possession of the basketball as they switch ends on the court. Opie coming in last year, went into the state tournament undefeated, got beat by Hanover, a very good Hanover team, 45-40. There could have been a travel on Smith. She got away with it. Opie all the way down in the inside, shot up, wild shot, no good. Boy, that should have been a foul on.
Those sure not Collins.
Bishop. She gets away with it. Now the ball's loose, and Bishop chases it down. She drives towards the rim. Euro step backside to Smith. Good pass, and they score as Opie look a little sluggish to start with, but finally get it together and score, and they're back up to a 7-point lead. Indians with the basketball, feeds it to Doherty. Doherty, Bradshaw. Bradshaw drives towards the rim, and she's going to get called for a charge, and she does get called for a charge. First team foul on the Indians, second on Bradshaw. On the floor for the Indians is Wadrick, Doherty, Struthers, Bradshaw, and Hutcherson. Coombs remains on the bench with 3 fouls to start the second half. Smith with the basketball, drives inside, feeds it right down to Bishop. She misses the layup. Struthers tips it around and goes right back out to Fisher. Now Claire Bradshaw steals it and goes to Hutcherson. Hutcherson drives down the court, cross-court pass over to Bradshaw. Bradshaw feeds it back up top to Wartrick. 7-point lead for the Eagles of Opie.
St. Paul
Off
looking
to
a little more
Bradshaw.
aggressive right off the start of this second half.
Hutcherson with it at left wing. Drives up towards the elbow. Step back three-pointer by her. Good.
Just what the doctor ordered, yeah.
Buries a three. 4-point lead for the Eagles. 22-18. Smith back down with the basketball.
I was a little worried they wouldn't count that as a three, but she stepped back plenty.
Now shot by Smith. Inside the arc, no good. Rebound tipped around, controlled by Wartrick. She's chased from behind, about loses it, now gathers it back up, feeds it over to Hutcherson. 6:17 left to go in the third. Indians down by 4, 22-18, and Hutcherson loses it. Ball's loose on the floor. It's out on Opie. Bad pass by Hutcherson. Luckily, it goes out of bounds off of Opie.
She was going to pass it to Claire Bradshaw, and the defender came right up with her, and she was stuck in mid-air.
Wartrick feeds it back to Claire. Long three-pointer by Bradshaw, way too long. Backside rebound, pulled down by Fisher. Feeds it back to Smith. Smith back over to Davis at right wing. Davis dribbles against Hutcherson, pulls up her dribble, kicks it back over to Hines. Hines guarded by Bradshaw, drives, splits the defender, ball's loose, gets it stripped away. She's on the floor, on her knees, now kicks it back out. 3-point shot on the way, no good, off the front of the rim. Tipped around, controlled by Opie, put back, no good, but she's fouled.
Got blocked in there by Emil Struthers, I believe.
And that's going to be Fisher headed to the line to shoot two for Opie. Second team foul on the Indians. Second on Struthers. No team fouls on the Eagles so far in the third period. First free throw on its way, rattles home. Fisher rattles it home. Coombs and Josie Harris check into the game. Bradshaw and Struthers come out for the Indians. Back up to a 5-point lead as Fisher settles in at the line, tried to make it 6. In and out, no good. Rebound, Bishop for Opie. Backside rebound.
Wow,
How the Indians can't block out on a free throw and let the quickness of Bishop get in there and get the rebound. It stays with Opie. Now a steal by Wartrick, and she feeds it ahead to Harris. Might have got away with the travel. Now feed off to Coombs. Off her hands, out of bounds, and another turnover on the Indians. Gives it right back to Opie.
They're just trying too hard right now. They can't seem to catch a pass. Hands of stone right now.
5-point lead for the Eagles. Bishop with the basketball. Feeds it off to Davis. Now back up top to Smith. Drives against Wartrick. Kicks it out to Fisher. Cross-court pass swatted out of bounds off the Indians. It'll stay with Opie. Fisher set to put the ball in play for Opie. Feeds it out to Smith. Wartrick on her. Dribbles towards the top of the key. Feeds it to Davis. Davis off to the right wing to Fisher. Drives the baseline. 3-point shot on the way. Off the rim. No good. Back long rebound. Coombs with it. Feeds it ahead to Wartrick. Wartrick in traffic. Spins and gets fouled on the floor. She's going to go line and shoot two. I think she called it on the shot. And that's going to send Taylor Wartrick the line to shoot two as Sophia Albertini and Emerald Struthers come to the scores table for the Indians. Wartrick settles in at the line. That's the second foul on Fisher for Opie. First free throw by Wartrick right up and through there as Struthers comes in for Elise Doherty. Albertini going to come in and give Wartrick a blow after the free throw if she makes it. Free throw on its way and good. 3-point lead for Opie, 23-20, 4:51 left to go here in the third period.
St. Paul needs to take advantage of this right now and get this close, maybe take the lead.
Smith with the basketball for Opie, guarded by Albertini, just coming game, about tipped it away. Now Fisher with it, drives towards Coombs, and she's going to get fouled. Who's that going to be on? Albertini or on Coombs? We'll see. And it's going to be on Sophia Albertini, her first team foul, number 3 on the Indians. And no kick call, but the Indians maintain or come up with a steal. Hutcherson with it, pressured down there, needs a little help. She stays with it. Now Harris with the basketball. Harris picks up her dribble, feeds it off to Struthers. She might have got away with a walk. As a little delayed jump stop. The Indians with the young freshman in there look a little out of sorts. Emily Hutcherson kicks out to Coombs. Coombs dribbles to her left, into traffic, shot on the way, no good. Albertini with the rebound, a contact, and I hope that's on number 5, Smith, her third, as Albertini gets the rebound, and it is going to be on Opie. Their second team foul, third on Smith, as that brings number 33 to the scorer's table, Broyles, to replace Smith. Good ball player is Smith, good point guard for
fast. Hustles.
The Eagles of Opie. Hutcherson with the basketball. 3-point lead for Opie. Shot by Struthers off the back iron, no good.
St. Paul cannot get a basket when they need it.
2-on-1. Shot up, no good. Knocked out of bounds by the Indians. Boy, if Struthers would have just planted her feet, took that charge, she kind of rolled with it, blocked it out of bounds, so it'll stay with Opie. Fisher with it, feeds it back out now, knocked out of bounds by Harris.
Nice hustle by Josie Harris on that play. Looked like just what Opie's doing to us, just getting to the ball, denying.
Smith right back into the game, a little offense, defense. Bishop feeds it into Smith. Crosses over against Albertini, feeds it to Davis. Davis cut off, drives the baseline, floater on the way, no good. Swats it hard, Coombs comes up with it, feeds it out to Hutcherson. Hutcherson slows things up, crosses half court, 23-20. Cross-court pass almost stolen by Opie. Albertini in trouble, feeds it back to Hutcherson. Three-point shot on the way, long, no good. Comes long back out to Hutcherson as the Indians reset.
That's something the Indians are getting this half, is some rebounds.
Harris picks up her dribble after she takes a couple in a little trouble, feeds it off to Hutcherson. A lot of sagging defense on Opie. Hutcherson one-on-one, drives in towards the lane, feeds it back to Struthers. Three-point shot by her, off the rim, no good. Rebound Smith for Opie.
It's a good shot.
Feed ahead to Davis. Boy, she looked like she got away with a travel. Feed to Fisher, now down the corner. Shot on the way by Hines, no good. Struthers, a foul there on Davis. Albertini pushes the ball down all the way against Smith. Left-hand layup, no good. Comes off short. Now here comes Opie. Smith right back down the floor. She streaks in hard, all the way in. Block. Oh, that was a clean block by Hutcherson on Smith, but they're going to give Smith the foul and send her to the free throw line.
Albertini went up there and had a clear shot layup and just couldn't finish on that. I think she expected some defense and just left it a little soft.
If the Indians could have get a little bit more going offensively, Keith, Opie's been held scoreless until now. In this third period. I believe it was 20-15.
We're doing Opie a great big favor here right now by not taking advantage of this and having a lead.
24-20, 4-point lead as Smith settles in for her second free throw. Two very good defensive teams, Keith. You can say how cold and how many mistakes we're making, but that's usually been caused by, pretty good defense on each team. Timeout, Opie, 30-second timeout. 25-20, Opie leads by 5. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse. Here's St. Paul trails by 5, 25-20. 2:40 left to go here in the third period. Bradshaw feeds it into Watrick. She's back in the game on the floor for the Indians. Bradshaw, Watrick, Doherty, Elise Doherty, Katie Coombs, and Josie Harris. Bradshaw feeds it off to Harris. A little more aggressive defense by Opie. They're in a zone, Keith, a 3-2 zone defense. Bradshaw with it. Cross screen set by Bradshaw. Cross court pass to Harris. Back up top to Watrick. A little switch up here by Opie, dropping into this 3-2 zone. Sagging 3-2 zone. Pressure in the basketball. Now Bradshaw with it as St. Paul goes in their motion zone offense. Doherty, three-point shot from the left wing. Can't get the crawl, but Harris with the rebound, and she's fouled. Oh, no way. He's going to call that on the floor as Harris trying to put it back up. She goes to free throw line, but how does he call that on the floor?
Really, she was on. There's a continuance, and
there's no way that's on
wow.
the floor.
Even Opie thought it was.
Everybody's lined up around the free throw line as Josie Harris has the rebound, trying to put back up a shot, and Broyles fouls her, which is her second. Either way, it's St. Paul's basketball under their own rim. Now Indians having trouble getting it in. Finally get it into Doherty at the corner. Now up to Bradshaw. Bradshaw drives towards free throw line. Should have kept going, and she carries the ball and turns it over.
You know, it seems like there's 8 Opie players out there, Dan, because there's always 2 around the ball, and there's nobody from St. Paul open.
1:48 left to go in the third, 25-20. Opie up by 5. Feed down to the baseline. Clear down to the baseline to Fisher. Now back up top to Smith. Back to Fisher, left wing guarded by Coombs. Davis with it, feeds it off to Smith. Fish looks in, gets it to Hines. She drives in, little floater, and right past everyone and scores. Back up to a 7-point lead for Opie.
Well, St. Paul's shooting themselves in the foot right now. They came out strong after that second half, and now they're just not executing.
Opie stays in the zone. Indians make it pretty easy on them, moving the ball slowly around the outside. Feed into Coombs, into traffic. She's triple teamed, shot up good.
Wow.
Tough shot
That
by
was.
Katie Coombs as she was triple teamed down there. Split the defenders and cuts the score to 5. Smith with the basketball, 54 seconds left to go in the third. 5-point lead for Opie. Back up top to Davis, now to Smith. Smith guarded by Watrick, up to Davis, looked at the three, passed on it. Now Smith goes in the lane, kicks it out, 3-point shot on the way, no good. Bradshaw chases it down for the Indians, 30 seconds left. Oh, steal by
Just let her have it.
Hines, just takes it right away. Shot up is good, and she's fouled.
Bradshaw just let her have it, basically.
Steal by Hines, she scores, and she's fouled, back up to a 7-point lead. And that's the third foul on
I tell you what,
Claire Bradshaw.
looks like post-holiday blues with the St. Paul Indians tonight.
28.7 seconds left to go in the third. 7-point lead by Opie as Hines at the line. She makes the free throw and makes it a 8-point lead for Opie. 30-22. Watrick with it.
Oh.
26 seconds left. Drives in, loses it. Steal by Hines. Hines cut off by Watrick. Kicks it off. Now Davis with it. Gets away with a little push. She's in the lane. Gets stripped away. Fisher with it. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Fisher all the way in. She's fouled. She's going to go line and shoot 2 with 6 seconds left to go.
It might be Struthers, what, third or fourth?
8-point lead for Opie, trying to make it the biggest lead of the game as
Had it within 3, and now
Fisher goes the line to shoot 2. First free throw on its way, rattles home and is good. 9-point lead for Opie as Broyles and Wecker checks in. They leave Smith in the game with, oh, Smith is out of the game as Fisher settles into the line for a second. She rattles it home. 11-point lead, biggest lead of the game. 5 seconds left. Back to Watrick, 2 seconds. Watrick back to Hutchison, shot no good. It's too late, and she missed it anyway. So at the end of 3, the Indians was within 3 with 2 minutes left to go in that third period, and now they're down by 11 as we get set for the fourth period. We will be back after this 30-second timeout in the St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse, where Opie leads St. Paul 32-22 as we get set for the fourth period. Indians going to have to play well in this fourth period, get back in this game. First 4 minutes of this period is going to be critical for the Lady Indians to try to chip away at this lead by Opie.
They got to finish off their baskets. They picked up the rebounding a little bit better in that third quarter, but again, the defense started to lack there quite a bit.
St. Paul's scoring average per quarter pretty consistent in that quarter, 7 points. It was 15. Indians was set on 15 at halftime, and now at 22. And a steal with a lot of contact by Opie. Shot up, no good. Rebound, Bishop kicks it out top to Davis as he had another good hand steal by the Opie Eagles.
St. Paul
Fisher
not protecting the ball.
Feeds it to Smith, crosses over against Doherty. Now Smith's going to get whistled for the travel, so turnover on Opie, gives it back to St. Paul. St. Paul with the basketball. Struthers feeds it into Watrick. She's picked up out there by Hines. Taylor just needs to go straight at her and right past her like that. She does with her left hand, feeds it off to Hutcherson at right wing. 7:20 left to go in the game. Indians down by 11. Now Hutcherson with it, looks inside, drives the baseline, in traffic, kicks it back out to Coombs. Into the lane she goes, layup long, no good. Elise Doherty with the rebound, put back, no good. Davis with the rebound, or Bishop with the rebound for Opie.
St. Paul's
wide open,
chances.
Left wing, now drives the baseline, Fisher, and it's good as nobody picks her up. Now no help, timeout by Coach Tuck. Full timeout. We'll be back after this, it's 30-second timeout. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse. 6:52 left to go in the game. 34-22. 12-point lead for Opie. Watrick with the basketball, picked up by Hines. Watrick dribbles right past her. Contact, no call made. Again, just 3 team fouls on Opie as Watrick stands up above the timeline. Everybody passing the ball around for the Indians. Watrick up top as they run against this 3-2 zone. Cross-court patch. Hutcherson, 3-point shot, no good, off the back iron. Didn't follow her shot as Smith with a long rebound for Opie. She travels down the sideline. That's number 21, Hines, with the travel, who's played well in that third quarter and the start of this fourth quarter for Opie.
Hines really good at picking St. Paul's pockets in that third quarter.
Watrick about loses it. Feeds it back to Doherty. Doherty up top to Hutcherson. Feed inside to Coombs in traffic. She's in a lot of traffic. Bounce pass back out. Watrick with it. Spin move. Back out to Doherty. Doherty with the fake, ball fake. Feeds it to Watrick. Now back out to Hutcherson. Hutcherson to Doherty. Doherty to Struthers. Struthers dribbles with her left. Feed into Coombs. Contact, but she makes the layup. As it looked like a walk to me, too, on Struthers. They're getting away with a jump stop there, but either way, play continued. 10-point lead for Opie, 34-24. Bench warning on Opie. Coach, I didn't know there was such a thing. He didn't like the call, and quite frankly, it looked like Emerald Struthers got away with a travel, but everybody misses calls. They miss them all night long, so either way, that's the coach's job to not like it and get on the ref, but it's coach's warning is on the Opie coach. Opie with the basketball. Drives the baseline. There's Fisher. Shot up, no good. Bad pass, but Doherty gets it back as almost a turnover as Hutcherson with it for the Indians up by the timeline. Feeds it off to Watrick to the corner to Struthers. Struthers back to Watrick. Up to Doherty. Feeds it around to Hutcherson. Long three-point shot way off. And Coombs chases it down. It's going to be a jump ball as between Davis and Coombs, and it's going to go to Opie on the possession arrow.
Yeah, it just seems like St. Paul not getting their feet around quick enough. Their passes are half step slow. I don't know. They just
Smith
don't
with the basketball for Opie. Comes down, picked up down there by Watrick. Davis with it. Hutcherson pokes it out of her hands for a minute. She recovers, feeds it back off to Smith. Smith drives towards, kicks it off to Davis. Now down to the corner. Now back out, three-point shot by Davis. No good. Watrick with the rebound. Watrick picks up her dribble, feeds it back to Struthers. Struthers feeds it to Doherty, almost over her head. Back to Struthers. Back to Doherty. Three-point shot from the baseline. Long, no good. Long rebound to Smith. She picked up out there by Watrick. And that's going to be a bump on Watrick. And that's the 7th team foul, so that's going to send Smith to the line, shoot to 1-1. Just 3 on Opie.
One thing I noticed on Hines on her defense, when she pokes at the ball, she comes from underneath. And refs will rarely call a foul on an underneath poke. You know, if you're coming down from the top or reach around, they're going to call it about every time.
Broyles checks back into the game for Opie. Up to the line to shoot to 1-1 is Smith for the Eagles. 4:32 left to go in the game. 10-point lead as Smith misses a rebound. Struthers feeds it to Coombs, who feeds it to Watrick. 4:28 left to go in the game.
They casually pick up their dribble at the top. I don't understand that.
Claire Bradshaw feeds it up top to Coombs, now over to Hutcherson. Indians going to have to be aggressive. Well, how's that not a foul? There's a big bump by Smith, and she gets away with it.
Oh, kid.
There's a foul on Watrick just a second ago. Claire Bradshaw in the corner with the basketball, drives in, loses it, now stripped away. Now ball's loose on the floor, and they're going to call a timeout. Opie, I didn't even think they had possession of the ball.
I didn't think so either. Well, you're right.
Grant them the timeout. We'll see if this is a 30 or a 1 minute. It is a 30. We'll go ahead and stay here. 34-24, 10-point lead for Opie. A little over 4 minutes left in the game. The Indians are going to have to turn things around here pretty quick in the last 4 minutes of this game. They can do it. They're just going to have to be a little more consistent on offense and hit some shots and play some real solid defense. Need to put a little pressure on Opie down the stretch here. Try to get this down to under double digits, down to under 5 with a couple minutes left to go in the game and see how they can react. Indians playing much better. You knew Opie was going to be good because last year they was loaded with freshmen and sophomore, mostly sophomores, and quite frankly, it was a running clock at Opie last year. Indians did not play well at all, so playing much better here tonight. So far, holding Opie well below their season average at 34 points. They've been averaging, what I looked at was, I think the least amount of points they've scored was 63 in a game. So a couple games was up in the 80s, so they know they play continually aggressive. Opie with the basketball. Hines with it, feeds it back to Smith. You know, Opie going to try to run a little clock here. Feeds it off to Davis at left wing. They're going to be patient, trying to create a good, high percentage open shot. Bishop with it, reverses off the backboard, short, no good. And that's going to be off of St. Paul as the Indians can't secure a rebound. Smith out hustles everybody, secures a rebound, bounces it off an Indian, and it stays with Opie.
Smith is just
Bishop
as fast and as quick, and she's both.
Feed over the top, ball's loose, and it stays with Fisher. And feeds it back to Smith, guarded out here by Watrick. Now off to Davis. Hutcherson guards her. Dribbles to the top of the key, reverses it back to Bishop. Bishop drives into the lane, kicks it out to Fisher. Now back up top to Smith. And that's going to be Taylor Watrick, and that's going to send Smith to the line, shoot the front end 1-1. 18 fouls, still just 3 on Opie as the Indians get the contact fouls, but can't seem to get one against Opie. Smith's free throw goes in over the front of the rim, so she hits the first, and she will get the bonus. 4th foul on Watrick all of a sudden. Kind of snuck up, had 1 in the first half, 3 in the second half here, and has 4th with 3:07 left. She misses the second.
Almost didn't get the block out.
Claire Bradshaw with the rebound, 11-point lead for Opie. Hutcherson tries to feed it to Coombs, and she reels it back in, splits the defenders. She's fouled. See if they call this. It's going to be on the floor. Just the 4th team foul on Opie in this half. 8 on the Indians. So much for home court advantage. 2:55 left to go in the game. 35-24, 11-point lead. Hutcherson in the corner. Hesitated for a minute, fed it back to Struthers, up top to Claire Bradshaw. Bradshaw jump shot, little 10-footer, in and out, no good. Tips it around, and Struthers comes out there with it. And Struthers with the putback. Watrick pressures the ball a little bit. Needs to be careful here, Taylor, not to pick up a 5th. Smith against her. Indians almost need to do a little switching here. Get Watrick off of Smith. 2:30 left to go in the game. Down to 9. Indians need to cause some turnovers quick.
They go to full court off defense.
Back to Hines, back to Smith as they are content and just burning the clock here with 2:16. Off to Fisher. Fisher guarded by Bradshaw. She needs to get up close to her. We need some turnovers, Claire. Can't just let them hand the ball off as they are just going to burn the clock. And that's going to be a foul on Claire Bradshaw. It's the wrong person to foul. And that's going to send Smith to the line to shoot the front end 1-1, 9th team foul.
I don't think she's missed a one yet tonight. Maybe I'll jinx her.
4th foul on Claire Bradshaw. So Claire Bradshaw and Taylor Watrick both playing with 4 fouls as Smith right through there on her first free throw. Indians are not going to gain any ground trading free throws for a hard-fought shot on our end of the court. Smith, they needed to get up on and deny passes, try to come up with a steal and not foul, especially since they have Opie in the double bonus the rest of the way now on the next foul. Watrick with it, 1:59. There's a reach. How do you get away with that? If that was against us, it'd be a foul every time. That's why we have 10 team fouls. 3-point shot by Hutcherson, no good. Rebound fought for. Claire Bradshaw comes out there with it. Now Smith is going to call a jump ball. Possession there should be with the Indians.
Claire had it, just came out of her hands.
Doherty, Albertini, and Harris. Timeout, Coach Tuck. 1:47 left to go in the game. 37-26. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back. St. Paul basketball, 1:46 left to go in the game. 11-point lead for Opie. St. Paul with possession of the basketball. Hutcherson with the basketball. Drives in traffic. Shot up. No good. And rebound comes out to Opie. Almost swiped away. Feeds back to Davis as Coach Tuck pleading his Indians to get up as there's a travel, gets away with it, and it's going to be Hines with the basketball. And that's going to be a foul on Coombs. Is that her 4th or 5th? That's going to send, that's just her 4th. It's going to send Hines to the line to shoot the double bonus. Hines or Fisher? Yeah, it's Hines. 21 as a 10th team foul on the Indians. Her first free throw on the way and right through there.
Yeah, Opie doing a great job at the line tonight. It'll be interesting to see what that stat is at the end of the game.
Second free throw on the way by Fisher, by Fisher, and she puts it in there. 39-26, 13-point lead for Opie. Hutcherson feeds it to Struthers, around to Bradshaw. Bradshaw to the elbow, off to Hutcherson to the corner to Wattrick. Long three-point shot, well short. Coombs with the rebound, put back, no good. Rebound comes out to Fisher. Smith with it. Under a minute left to go. Back to Fisher, down to the corner to Davis. One thing the Indians have done tonight is held Davis, the senior, pretty quiet. But everybody else has picked up the slack for Opie. Davis is fouled. Third foul on Emily Hutcherson. That's going to send her to the line to shoot 2 in the double bonus. So this lead's getting spread out by Opie as they don't miss too many free throws as Davis cans her first one. Now the biggest lead of the game, 14 by Opie. The Rattles at home, 15-point lead, 41-26. St. Paul on pace to score their 7 points per quarter, sitting at 26.
St. Paul just looking like they have the holiday malaise, and Opie looks like they played last night. You know, I mean.
And I think if he was going to talk to the Opie fans and coaches, they're going to probably say that they didn't look their best tonight neither. As Hutcherson cans at 3, timeout, Coach Tuck, 29-41 with 36.6 ticks left, meaning that Opie used to scoring in the 60s, 70s, and so far tonight held to 41. The Indians, you know, it's just the point that it's two very good defensive teams and two very good basketball teams, but Opie just more consistent on offense than the Indians. The Indians' defense good enough to win this ball game, holding this very good offensive Opie team to 41. But their problems all year against the Columbus when you get in them games is sometimes our offense goes pretty stagnant and we have too many unforced errors. We don't get enough. We need to make every opportunity of our possessions, and we don't make good enough opportunities of them. But either way, good showing by both teams here. Long road trip for Opie as St. Paul made it last year as here on a Friday night. No school again today. School starts back Monday. Keith, Monday's a makeup game at Uniontown, that snow out game. So Indians right back at it Monday night. No game Tuesday, and then back at it Friday. And then right after that's back into full schedule as we work our way towards the Southeast mid-season tournament. Full court pressure for the first time tonight, fed down to Bishop. Bishop double team down there. She's fouled by Elise Doherty, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2. Wattrick, Bradshaw, and Coons back to the scorers table. In out of that timeout was Albertini, Harris, and Emerald Struthers, or Elise Doherty, back into the game. First free throw by Bishop is in there. Coombs checks in for Albertini. Doherty and Harris all come back out of the game. 30 seconds left to go in the game, 42-29. Maya Bishop, the junior, good ball player for Opie. Second free throw short, no good. Struthers with the rebound. She pushes the ball down the floor. Off to Hutcherson, now to Wattrick. Wattrick, three-point shot by her right wing. Long off the back iron. Fisher with the rebound. Hutcherson goes for the rebound, or steal, doesn't get it. Back to Smith. And that's going to be the ball game. We'll see if Opie dribbles it up. Smith up above the timeline as Wattrick backs off to let her dribble the clock out. 42-29. Good opening night here at Billy Fager Fieldhouse. St. Paul comes in at the short end of the stick, but against a very good Opie team. So St. Paul kind of measures himself and sees what kind of work they has to do, and it's mostly on offense, as we will have final game stats after this 2-minute timeout. You're the St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse here in St. Paul, Kansas, where St. Paul Florida Lady Indians fall short to Opie 42-29. In a good defensive battle here tonight. Watrick ended up the night with 2 points, Hutcherson with 9, Coombs with 4, Struthers with 8, and Bradshaw with 5 for the total of 28 points. Indians shot 11 for 41 from the field for 26%, 7 for 23 from two-point land for 30%, 4 for 18 for 22% from three-point land, and 2 for 4 from the free throw line for 50%. Indians ended up with 15 turnovers and 19 total fouls, 33 rebounds, good rebounding night for the Indians, 19 defensively, 14 offensively. Just a pretty good defensive basketball game by both teams, Keith.
Yeah, that was. And I tell you what, I guess a good takeaway you take from the game, like you said earlier, is that St. Paul held a team that had been averaging 70 points a game, at 40. And but boy, I'll tell you what, their offensive execution, the OP defense was good. It caused a lot of it, but St. Paul shot themselves in the foot a lot tonight too. They just did not look like they had it tonight.
Yeah, and Indians, they know that's where they have to work on. Coach Tuck said it right off the front of the year before before the season even started. All the previews are read, and he's looking for more consistency offensively, and the Indians are still doing that, but they have looked better from game to game, and hopefully they catch their stride offensively throughout the season with the 3 seniors and sophomores with a lot of playing time, as they have gotten better along the way, and we hope they continue to do that, work through the midseason tournament and towards their way to regional and sub-state, Keith.
Yeah, if they can continue to improve and can handle teams like this in Columbus better by the end of the season, I think they'll be in good shape for sub-state and hopefully get into the state playoffs and have some really good games, maybe hook up with some really good three-point shooting and shoot their way to a championship. It's it's so hard at that level, but hey, anything can happen.
With 1A basketball going back to one division, it is, if not twice as hard, more so hard to get back to the state tournament, where you're taking all of the teams in 1A instead of splitting them in half. They're in one, and you're vying for one of the 8 spots to go out to the state tournament. So not only do you have to get through regional, you have to get through sub-state and win sub-state in order to go on. So it's a pretty tall hill to climb for the Lady Indians. Their defense is good. Their defense is good enough to get them there. The rebounding is probably good enough to get them there. They just need to find more consistency on offense, and they all know that, and they'll continue to work hard at that. Second game of the night is the boys and Opie boys. That was a barn burner up at Opie last season, where the Indian boys come out with a 1-point victory up there last year. They look to come out and get their stride going here after Christmas break. We're going to take a little extended break so we can go use the facilities here. There's about 10 minutes till tip-off. We'll be back after the extended break. We're going to call it about a 5-minute break. So stick around. Join us here in about 5, 6, 7 minutes as we will rejoin you and bring you tonight's boys action. You're listening to St. Paul Basketball on Hot 105. You there, Cody? All right. I'll holler at you when we get back, all right? Cody. It's like 3:25 until tip-off. Probably got to cut into it. How about? Yep, that'll be fine. All right. Well, welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse here in St. Paul, Kansas, where we finished warm-ups here for the boys' action. The Lady Indians fell short to the Opie girls in a two very good programs battling one another, but the Indians came up a little bit short against a well-coached Opie team. Both teams well-coached in that previous ball game, but now we get lined up for boys' action here tonight, where St. Paul last year against Opie traveled up there, come out with a great road victory over the Opie Eagles. It's going to be another tough matchup for the Indians of St. Paul, as the Indians just a couple losses on the season here, and also Opie with a couple losses on the season, as we get set to go over starting lineups here in just a minute, as Keith had to go back down to the scores table to go over starting lineups. He's filling in for the athletic director, Keith McCracken, getting married tomorrow in Wichita. So my broadcast partner, Mike, is off getting ready for that big wedding tomorrow. We wish them the best of luck as they get married on a Saturday and right back to school on a Monday. So not much of a honeymoon for old Keaton. We wish them well. As we set to go over starting lineups for each team, we look for this to be a good matchup. St. Paul, quite frankly, trying to find their stride so far this year. Been a little sluggish up and down on the hustles there for the Indians. The Indians not real deep on the season, just 5-6 players deep. Caleb Lemons, the Indians been led by him, playing well this year offensively on the scoring end. Adam Albertini still trying to find his shot from the outside. Number 10, Jordan Barnard, the junior for the Indians. Senior, I was just speaking about, Caleb Lemons, playing well offensively and defensively for the Indians. See if he can keep things rolling. Holting, Derek Holting, a sophomore, gets a start for the Eagles of Opie. And for the Indians, senior Hayden Smith. It's a nod for the Eagles. Damon Rediker gets the start for Opie, another sophomore. It's a young squad on the floor for Opie. Senior Adam Albertini gets a nod for Coach Wadrick and the Indians. Number 22, Dawson Soyez, a senior, gets a start for the Eagles. And big Easton Dent, number 15, gets a nod for the Indians. And for Opie, last but not least, Colby Holting, another senior. Colby Holting gets the nod for the Eagles. And for the Indians, number 24, Chandler Bradshaw, gets a start for the Indians, as right before Christmas break, Chase Bradshaw and got to suit back up as he was battling illness in the first part of that season, so it's good. It's going to be good to have Chase off the bench as he tries to get his sea legs back under him. As coming off the bench for the Indians, Austin O'Hara with a limited playing time, as well as Ivan Murillo, and now we'll have Chase Bradshaw to come off the bench. The Indians suit up 12, so they get relatively young after that, after this senior laden team, as Keith makes his way back up here to the announcer stand. Pulling double duty here tonight. 8 minutes on the clock as we get set for tip-off in the last game of the night. Now, JV games going on in the other gym. It started out with the boys JV when the girls was playing. Now the girls slip over there to play girls JV action. Good to have good girls numbers this year to have JV games every week. As Hayden Smith set to tip off against Soyez. You're going to keep some stats this game, Keith. Whoops, let me turn you back up so you can hear something there.
I'm going to try to, so you probably won't hear a whole lot out of me.
All right, Smith. The tip is controlled by the Indians. It went to Lemons off the tip, so the Indians will start with first possession of the basketball. Looks like the Eagles will come out in a man-to-man. Albertini with the basketball. Drives towards the lane, kicks it out to Lemons. Lemons loses his footing, kicks it to Dent. Dent, spin move in front of the rim, can't get the roll. Rebound comes out to Holting for Opie. Catch a number on the opposite side. It is number 10, Barnard. Now pass inside, back out. Now back to Barnard. Three-point shot. And he rattles it home, and he gets Opie off to a good start, just like the girls with a 3-0 lead as the junior. It gets the three-pointer to go, and they lead 3-0. Chandler Bradshaw with the ball at the right wing, standing way outside. Now Hayden Smith over to Albertini. The Indians being looking for some opening here on offense. Albertini to the free throw line, passes it back to Bradshaw. He's in close to the rim, off the backboard, and good. Good move by Albertini to feed it to Bradshaw, and it's 3-2. Rediker with the basketball down to the corner. That is Soyez. Soyez into the lane, back out now. Back to Soyez in the corner. Three-point shot, no good. Albertini with the rebound. Feeds it ahead to Lemons, and it's off of him. About took his head off. Lemons 10-footer, jumper, no good. And Albertini chases that rebound down, swats it away, and controls it for the Indians. Man-to-man defense by Opie. Bradshaw at right wing. Now screen set by Smith. He rolls off that. Now shot by Bradshaw off the back iron. No good. Rebound is Barnard. Now down to the corner to Rediker. Tries to pass it inside. And that's going to be a foul on Easton. Dent coming through Holting as the pass tries to go into Holting. Dent's going to be whistled for his first foul. First team foul of the night. Now a three-point shot by Barnard from the corner, and he nails it. 6 points by him. They're going to have to get a hand in his face. Pretty pure shooter, 2 for 2 from outside the arc.
That was quick, too. He just a quick trigger on that one.
Lemons guarded out there by the junior. Now Albertini into the free throw line, pulls back, shot up, rolls out, no good. Rebounds controlled by Rediker. No rebounders for the Indians, and that sagging man looked like a travel, got away with it. Feeds it back out to Rediker, to Barnard, now down to the corner. A little jump shot on the way, good by number 22, Soyez, and he gives Opie a 8-2 lead, 6-point lead for the Eagles. Indians with some good looks at the basket, just can't to go, and no rebounding so far for the Indians. See if they can clean this up here offensively. Off of this Christmas break, Bradshaw with the basketball outside the arc. Now Lemons, long three-point shot, way off, no good. Rebound, Eagles. Not sure that was a shot Coach Wattrick was looking for. Lemons was 4 foot outside the arc. Little zone applied by the Indians, trapped down in the corner. Now feeds it back up top to Holting. Holting back to the corner. Now down underneath the Holting. Shot on the way by Bernard.
Wow.
Guess what? He cans another three-pointer. Timeout, Coach Wattrick. That's 9 points by him as he's buried 3 threes and gives the Eagles a 11-2 lead. Timeout. Indians, full timeout. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout in the St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse. 3.5 minutes into the game. Menard 9 for the 11 for Opie, and they lead 11-2. Indians held pretty quiet offensively, and now it's poked away from Bradshaw, knocked out of bounds off Opie. It'll stay with the Indians of St. Paul.
Opie just doing some sharp shooting with Bernard and I think another player on three-point shots.
Albertini with the basketball, hesitation, pulls back, kicks back out to Bradshaw. Bradshaw up above the timeline, kicks it to Albertini at right wing. Looks inside for Dent, kicks it up top to Hayden Smith. Now back over to Bradshaw as Dent tries to fight his way across the lane. A lot of contact in there as he fights his way through the lane. Lemon spins away, and he's going to be fouled by Bernard on the floor. First foul on the Eagles, first on Bernard. As St. Paul's basketball, Albertini set to put it in play under his own rim. Looks to get it in. Now feed into Smith. Shot up good, and he's fouled. Hayden Smith will try to go to the line to complete the and one as a good inbounds play. Smith gets to crawl over the front of the rim, and he's fouled by number 14, Holting. Two Holtings on the floor at the same time, if you hear me calling Holting a lot, as Smith makes a free throw, and it's a 6-point lead for Opie at 11-5. See if the Indians make an adjustment on Bernard here, makes somebody else score for Opie. Rediker with the ball, feeds it off to Holting. Holting, good feed inside, layup short, no good, but rebound to Opie, blocked, swatted around, knocked around, ball's loose, and it's going to stay with Holting and the Eagles. Now Bernard faked a long three, pulls it down, Bradshaw on him. As St. Paul goes to a man-to-man, or they stay in their zone. Bernard, another shot from the free throw line. He cans it, and he gives them an 8-point lead, 13-5. 3:26 left to go in the first. Lemons with the basketball as he crosses half court, guarded by Bernard. Screen set by Bradshaw. Now he rolls off of it. Now Lemons gets it swatted away and blocked. Now Dent comes out of there with it somehow. Dent spins in front of the rim. Good move by Easton Dent. He spins in front of the rim. They get it back to a 6-point lead, 13-7. Man-to-man defense applied by the Indians. Double team down and loses it. Oh, he got to be on the baseline. He was. Turnover on number 22, Soyez, off the Eagles. Rare turnover.
St. Paul playing some good defense right there, just denying that middle, making it so tough for them to get it to the basket.
Kendon Robert checks in for the Eagles. St. Paul with the same starting five on the floor so far. Lemons feeds it off to Bradshaw. Chandler needs to, as Albertini takes a shot, one shot at the basket, no good. Rebound comes to Robert. Chandler needs to get down on the block. He was guarded by Robert, has a distinct height advantage by Robert. See if that continues. Shot up by Opie, no good. Rebound comes to Eagles. Put back in front of the rim is good by Soyez, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line to the and one. The Indians unable to block out and rebound on the defensive rebound. Unlike Opie, the Indians get one shot and done. Opie with multiple shots at the basket, 2 on that trip, and they lead 15-7. They lead by 8. Soyez to the line for the and one. And it's right through there and good. 16-7, 9-point lead for Opie.
Looks a lot like the girls' game. About the time St. Paul starts to get their stuff together, Opie goes on a run.
Chandler Bradshaw has 6 inches on Roberts. He needs to get down on the block and post him up. Lemons with a tough shot, no good. No rebounders again for the Indians. And now steal by Lemons, and he loses it, and it goes right back to Opie. Crossover by Opie, feet down underneath, layup good. Right down underneath the Skalaski, who's into the game, the sophomore, and now it's an 11-point lead for Opie. Albertini across the baseline, gets it swatted away by Roberts. Now Bradshaw feeds it back to Albertini, and it's out of bounds, and it's a turnover on the Indians, and goes right back to Opie. Bernard and Holting, Colby Holting, the seniors check back in, as well as Chase Bradshaw checks in for the first time tonight. So now with Holtings, we have Bradshaw and Bradshaw on the floor for the Indians. Chase Bradshaw checks in for Hayden Smith to give him a breather. As Rediker brings the ball down for Opie. Dribbles to his left, feeds it down to the corner, now back up top to Bernard. Bernard screen set. Bounce pass back over to Holting. Colby Holting tries to get around Albertini, feeds it out top to Roberts. He's guarded by Easton Dent. He drives right around Dent, and he travels before he takes off. And a turnover goes back to the Indians off the turnover as Roberts scored on the layup, but it's no good. Traveled with the step. Albertini with the basketball, 11-point lead for Opie. 1 minute left to go in the first period. Bradshaw back to Albertini, into Dent. Dent spin move again, blocked by number 31. That time spin Skolaski. Rediker now a whistle away from the ball. It's going to be on Dent, I believe. Easton Dent and Colby Holting got tied up. Second foul on Easton Dent. Third team foul on the Indians. Brings Murillo into the game with 48.5 seconds left to go in the first period. 11-point lead for Opie. Bernard puts it in play, gets it to Holting. He's guarded by Murillo. Drives in, kicks it out to the baseline. Cross-court pass in the lane. Boy, it could have been a walk, and I believe it is a walk. Yep, traveled with the basketball. Number 31, Skolaski. A good feed into him, but he drug his foot. Skolaski, sophomore, good-sized kid, looks to be about 6'2". As back into the game is number 14, Derek Holting, the sophomore. 38.6 seconds left to go in the first period. 18-7, 11-point lead for Opie. Lemons with the basketball. The basketball gets it stripped out of his hands. Here comes Holting for the Eagles. Tries to kick back. Now fed underneath. It's no good, but he's fouled, and that's going to send number 14, Holting, Derek Holting, to the line to shoot two. Fourth team foul on the Indians. Foul on Chandler Bradshaw, his first, with 19.2 seconds left to go as Holting tries to extend this Opie lead. And does. 19-7, 12-point lead for Opie. Back to the line, rattles in and out, no good. Murillo with the rebound. He feeds it ahead to Bradshaw. 15 seconds. Out to Albertini. Albertini, cross court to Murillo. A little set shot, no good. Rebound, Opie. Shot by Bernard at the buzzer, well short, no good. End of the first quarter, 19-7. Opie up by 12. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105.
Quarters stats.
Yeah, I'll let you just fill in with them, Keith, as you want.
I'm not keeping their stats. So.
Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse, where St. Paul's dug a pretty good hole here in the first period. They trail Opie 19-7. Can't be pleased with the offensive production nor defense, giving up 19 points in that first quarter. Opie on pace to be in the 70s. So see if the Indians can tighten up on defense. Three-pointer by Bernard, and it doesn't appear as though he's going to cool off as he buries a three off the inbounds play to start this second period to give Opie a 22-7 lead. That's his fourth three of the night. feed to Albertini.
Oh,
How is
wow.
that not a foul?
I
Over the
know.
back, and instead it's just out of bounds off of Opie. A lot of contact as Albertini set to put the ball back in play for the Indians, is knocked out on Opie.
Somebody better break loose. He's gonna get called.
Albertini needs to get rid of the basketball, and finally does to Lemons, barely. And it could have been a 5 count because it seemed like he had it forever. Bradshaw with the basketball, or excuse me, Albertini with the basketball. Feeds it back to Chandler Bradshaw. Bradshaw, Albertini, Lemons, and Murillo in the game for the Indians. Count is on. Lemons needs a dribble, does finally dribble. Caleb Lemons with the basketball, guarded by Bernard. Dribbles to the baseline, spins, feeds it back to Chase Bradshaw. Three-pointer on the way, off the rim, no good, and no rebounders for the Indians. Now steal by the Indians. It's a 2-on-2. Bradshaw all the way to the rim, swatted out of bounds by Bernard. And he'll stay with the Indians as Easton Dent makes his way back to the scorer's table with 2 fouls. Comes in for Murillo, so it's Chase Bradshaw, Chandler Bradshaw, Adam Albertini, Caleb Lemons, and Easton Dent on the floor for the Indians. White's ball. Foul on Opie. That's going to be on number 22, Soyez, away from the basketball. It's 13 foul on Opie. First on Soyez. Feed up top to Albertini. Feed over the top of everyone and right out of bounds as he was looking for Dent down low, and well over the head of Dent. Turnover goes right back to Opie. A little full court pressure, man-to-man by Lemons as he guards number 20, Rediker. Gets around him, now pushes against Albertini, but feeds off, layup no good, put back no good, fought for underneath and out of bounds off. There's no way.
Oh, wow.
He says it's off of Chase
How was
Bradshaw.
that?
Looks like he bounced it right on the baseline. Number 14 looked like Holting looked like he did.
St. Paul needs to do some blocking out, too. The girls earlier tonight just really bad at it.
Inbounds, ball's loose on the floor, and it's picked up by Lemons. Lemons pushes the ball down the floor for the Indians all the way into the lane. Shot up, no good. And he's going to go line shoot 2 as he's fouled as he goes hard to the rim. So Lemons will go the line to shoot 2. It is on Bernard, I believe, is second. Yep, second on Bernard. 14 foul on Opie Eagles. It won't hurt a bit to get him on the bench as he's canned 4 threes as Lemons stays cold here tonight so far. Robert checks back into the game for Bernard as he's picked up his second foul. 6:15 left to go before halftime. Indians still stuck on 7. Second free throw off, no good. Long rebound comes out to Robert. 22-7. Opie leads the Indians, lead by 15. Robert with the basketball. Feeds it off to Holting. Good pass inside. Layup good. Now it's 24-7. Excuse me. Adam Albertini with the basketball. Feeds it off to Lemons. Now to Dent. Dent holds the ball outside the three-point line. Feeds it back to Albertini. Albertini out to Lemons. Long three-pointer by Lemons. Off the back iron. No good. Dent with the rebound. Put back. No good.
Wow.
In and out. 4 green jerseys in there to secure the rebound for Opie. 5:27 left to go in the second. All the way to the rim. Layup good. No defense by the Indians. Lets Rediker drive right through there, and the Indians are down by 19. 30-second timeout by Coach Watrick as the shooting offensive woes for the Indians continue. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. This is St. Paul Basketball Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse. If the Indians don't straighten up, it's going to be a running clock in the fourth quarter because Opie is schooling the Indians so far. Indians not back to school yet, but it is 26-7, 19-point lead for Opie, and the Indians stuck on 7 point.
Just not a good look for St. Paul tonight for sure.
Dent, now Albertini shot from outside the free throw line, and he cans it, so maybe that'll shake some things loose. Now almost a steal. It's out of bounds. Off. Good hustle by Caleb Lemons, causing that turnover against Opie. Maybe the Indians could get a little forecourt pressure, get a little bounce in their step, cause some turnovers here. 26-9, feed up top to Dent. Now Albertini with it. Chase Bradshaw goes across the lane. Now here comes Lemons to set a screen for Albertini. I don't know if I've ever told you, Keith, but I'm not a fan of the four-guard offense. Lemons in, shot up, no good. Four-guard offense, you better be a pretty good shooting team because you have absolutely no rebounding off of the four-guard motion offense. Albertini out on Eagles, and now Albertini set to put it in play, looking and looking, and feeds it into Dent. Dent back out to Albertini. Albertini at right wing, dribbles against this man-to-man defense and fed over the head of everybody and right out of bounds as Hayden Smith comes back to the scores table for the Indians. 4:28 left to go in the second period, 26-9. As Easton Dent comes out, Hayden Smith goes in.
Yeah, St. Paul just doesn't have the toughness underneath that, blocked them people out.
Well, offensively, there's just nobody underneath there to block or to try to get the rebound offensively because on the four guard, and it's just the way the offense is set. I'm not saying the Indians are playing wrong, but when a shot goes up from the outside, everybody stand outside the three-point line. And there's only one lone guy down there, four defensive rebounders for Opie to block one guy out. You better make that shot from the outside every time. I'm not. Turnover on the Eagles, a rare turnover, gives it right back to the Indians. Lemons with the basketball.
Like you say, when Lemons goes cold or something like that, then they're in trouble.
Lemons drives the baseline, tries to kick it out, does to Albertini. He drives in now. Good pass into Hayden Smith.
Oh, wow.
And he gets his shot blocked, and rebound comes out to Rediker. Rediker all the way in, kicks it out. Little 10-footer by number 25, Wiley Rediker, the senior, and it's 28-9, 19-point lead. Back up to a 19-point lead for Opie. 3:33 left to go in the second period. Bradshaw to Albertini, long three-point shot by him. Good, he buries a three. Adam Albertini heating up a little bit here. Indians really need him to heat up in the mid-tail part of this season. Try to fill the absence of Kenny Haney, him and Colin Carlson, the two Indians lost. Rebound comes out to Albertini. He's on the breakaway. One-on-one, layup good. Adam Albertini with quick 7 points for the Indians. Now it's down to a 14-point lead up to Robert. He passes on the three. Kicks it back out to Soyez. Soyez back out to Rediker. Rediker against, drives in, pulls shot from the elbow off. No good, but too many green jerseys in there. Offensive rebound, put back. Second chance point for Opie, and they score, and it's back up to a 16-point lead, 30-14. 2:33 left to go before half. Chase Bradshaw feeds it to Chandler, and Chandler gets whistled for the travel as he started to hesitate like he was going to throw it to Adam Albertini. Changed his mind with the basketball and gives it right back to Eagles. 30-14, 16-point lead for Opie. Bernard, the offensive high score in the game by far for Opie and St. Paul. 4 threes on the night by him as a tough pass fed across the lane, knocked away, but Opie comes out there with it. And that's going to be on Chase Bradshaw as Bernard drove towards the basket on the floor. 15 foul on Indians. First on Chase. Count is on as Holting feeds it into Robert. Robert back to the corner to Holting. Up to Bernard. Thought he was going to inside the three-pointer line and partially blocked by Chandler Bradshaw. Chase out of there with it. Feeds it to Chandler. Chandler off to Lemons. Now to Albertini. He's feeling it. Shot on the way. No good. Rebound to Bernard.
Yeah, just no St. Paul, no white shirts under the basket right there.
Colton Holting with the basketball, guarded by Smith. Now shot from the elbow right through there by number 25, Wiley Rediker, the senior. 32-14, 18-point lead for Opie.
Just about time St. Paul makes a move. Opie steps it up.
Lemons with the basketball. Feeds it off to Hayden Smith. Now back to Lemons. Long three-point shot by him. Way off. Way too hard. And nothing but green jerseys around it, and they chase it down. Now feed down court to Robert. Off to the corner to Holting. Holting back up top to Derek Holting. Now to Robert. Robert looks inside, feeds it up top to Bernard. He's guarded by Chandler Bradshaw. Feeds it back to Colby Holting, the senior. Drives right past Chase and scores. 34-14, 20-point lead for Opie. Adam Albertini with the basketball, drives in, kicks it out to Chase Bradshaw, feeds it back to Albertini. Albertini tries to feed around through traffic, kick, but no call made. Opie comes out there with it. And a shot blocked partially by Bradshaw, but it's knocked out of bounds by him. So it'll stay with Opie as Damian Rediker, the sophomore, as well as number 31, Ted Skolaski, the sophomore, checks in for Opie. Derek Holting feeds it in up top. 28 seconds left to go before halftime. 20-point lead for Opie. Looked like a walk. Got away with it and scores. Derek Holting, the sophomore. 36-14, 22-point lead for Opie.
Opie's shooting percentage out of he's sky high.
I guarantee you they've out-rebounded the Indians double figures. Shot up on its way, no good by Lemons.
I sent that to you.
Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse here in St. Paul. St. Paul trails here at halftime, 36-14, in a pretty rusty-looking first half by the St. Paul Indians. They've had games like that this year, so for the Indians try to find their stride offensively, just haven't found it yet. I don't know how to put it at the time. They look like their feet stuck in the mud a little bit offensively. They've been out-rebounded terribly tonight by Opie, as it's 36-14 here at halftime. Carlson and Kenny Haney, and you knew it was going to be an offensive threat to score or to try to fill Haney's shoes, but the Indians, a lot of returning starters, really thought the Indians would get off to a little better start this year. You know, at first made a run into the playoffs in football, so then you thought, well, maybe you blame a little bit of it on.
Just like Opie came with their game face on in St. Paul. I don't know what, I know they practice over the holiday weekend, but they just not showing up tonight. I don't know.
So far tonight, 36-14, the Indians. Coach Watcher can make a lot of adjustments on offense. As scoring on the night, Hayden Smith with 3 just 7 total rebounds in that first half. As it's been one shot and done offensively, and the Indians only shooting 6 for 22, 27%. I guarantee you just look at that stat line, and unless the other team is a lot worse than you are, you're not going to win very many games. And that shows on the scoreboard here so far here tonight with the 36-14. Opie playing a man period will get underway here in about 6 minutes. We'll be back after this next break. A 2-minute timeout. You listen to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105.
Up on the rebounds. I thought they had way more than that. I'll send that to you.
Okay.
Okay, I just sent it. The shot chart for St. Paul. You know who that is.
Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse here in St. Paul. Team stats for Opie. This kind of explains a lot of it. Opie shooting 15 for 21 from the field for 71%, 11 for 16 from two-point land, and 4 for 5 from three-point land. 80% from three-point land. 4 of those come from Bernard. I know if he didn't shoot the fifth one, I think he's perfect from outside the arc with 12 points from outside that arc. And they're shooting 66% from the free throw line. So Opie's shooting well, so hopefully the Indians can cool them off here in the second half and try to claw their way back into this game as we get set to start the second half here in about 3.5 minutes. This week, a lot of action going on as school starts back up Monday after the weekend. January 6th, high school basketball at Uniontown. That's the makeup game. 6 p.m. start time for the girls' action will come on about 5:45. January 7th, middle school basketball at Southeast at 5:30. January the 9th, middle school basketball at Altoona Midway, 5 p.m. January 10th, no school on a Friday, but high school basketball at Pleasanton at 6 p.m. So the Indians, all the Indian squads, girls, boys, and high school, middle school all get their traveling shoes on as all the games away next week starting Monday at Uniontown.
Yeah, that's that part of the season. Then the week after that or 2 weeks after that is the Southeast tournament. They'll be going there, 2 to 3, 4 nights in 1 week, depending on how well they fare.
Is that the next week, Keith?
I'm not sure it's the next week or the week after.
I think it's 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
I think you have like 2 weeks after you come off Christmas break and then roll right into that Southeast. And last I heard, I think there may be only just 5 or 6 teams in that Southeast tournament. As I heard, Parsons has dropped out. Parsons boys, I think, going to Kansas City, I'd heard. I don't know if that's true or not, going to a bigger tournament as they drop out, as they got a very good basketball team on the boys' side. Well, I'm not sure. I think maybe Pierce City may not be coming also to the Southeast tournament. So maybe a little smaller tournament in that midseason tournament at Southeast. But we'll bring you that full schedule after we get rolled back into the school next year and get fired back up after the holiday break. We're going to take one more time out before we bring you second half action. We'll be back after this 1 minute timeout. You're in St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse here in St. Paul, where St. Paul trails 36-14. Let's see what kind of halftime adjustments Coach Wartrick made at halftime. See if maybe St. Paul maybe jump into a little full-court pressure, try to create a little energy and get a little pop back in their step here, try to get into this lead. If nothing else, just try to whittle away here in the third period and have a little more competitive, a little more being in sync offensively here in this second half. 36-14, Indians trail by 22. 8 minutes on the clock. It will be Indians basketball to start the third period, second half. As on the floor for the Indians is Caleb Lemons, Adam Albertini, Chandler Bradshaw, Easton Dent, and Hayden Smith.
Yeah, that Lancer Classic will kick off on the 20th, I believe, if I got that right. 21st, maybe.
So 2 weeks of basketball and then the tournament as Lemons with the basketball feeds it to Dent in traffic. Boy, got away with travel. And he fights his way all the way to the rim and gets the Indians off to a good start here in the second half with a right-handed layup. Bernard with the basketball, Bradshaw on him. Man-to-man defense by the Indians. Feeds it off to the right wing. Number 23, Colby Holting. Now inside shot up, and it rolls in by Rediker as he gets the roll. And they trade 2-point start this third period. Adam Albertini into the lane, out to Bradshaw. Passes on the three. Feeds it back up top to Lemons. Lemons, little switch here, picked up by Bernard, not on him now. Bernard was on him in the first half. See if Lemons can maybe take it against Derek Holting a little bit. Bradshaw off to Lemons. Three-pointer by him. Well short. Off that rim. No good. Ball's loose. Hayden Smith fights for it. Shot up. Good. Good. Hustle play by Hayden Smith. Let's have a couple defensive stops here. Bernard with the basketball for Opie. Drives against Bradshaw. Feeds it out to Rediker. And the lost out of bounds of the Indians to create a turnover against Opie. See if they can get something rolling here.
Yeah, let's take advantage of this. Keep this momentum going.
20-point lead. Easton Dent feeds it into Lemons. Look for Coach Watrick to, on a made basket here, jump into a little four-court pressure at some point here. I'd like to see Indians put a little pressure on Opie. Adam Albertini with the basketball. Feeds it off to Bradshaw down in the corner. He looks in at Smith. Now he feeds it back up. Whip it around the horn. Easton Dent, left guard with the basketball. Bradshaw cuts across the baseline with it. Feeds it up top to the Lemons. Now to Smith at right wing. Now here comes Bradshaw. Nobody there. Smith looks, and tries to feed it to Dent into traffic. Almost stolen away, but Dent chases it down. Dent feeds it out to Lemons. Lemons hesitation, jump stop, tough shot. No good, off the front of the rim. Rebound Opie, Rediker. Rediker to Bernard. Bernard hesitation in front of the rim, shot up, and he's going to get the roll.
Well, everything they shoot up is they're getting the roll. Everything we shoot up is bouncing out.
Albertini pushes the ball back down the floor, pulls up, jump shot, good. Adam Albertini starting to heat up a little bit. That'll be a good sign for the Indians. Is up to 9 points is Adam. A little pressure here on Rediker. Rediker all the way into the lane. He makes a layup and he's fouled by Easton Dent. Dribble past three Indians on the floor, and Dent, last man standing, as he makes the layup and is fouled. So their shooting percentage is not going down a bit yet, and that's the third foul on Easton Dent. That sends Damian Rediker to the line for the and one. It rattles in and is good. Dent feeds it into Albertini, 43-20. 23-point lead by Opie.
Just as St. Paul makes a move, Opie responds.
Hayden Smith really fighting for position. Albertini step back shot from the elbow, no good, but he's fouled, and he'll go to the line and shoot two. Adam being a more aggressive on offense, which is a good sign for the Indians if they can get him and Lemons both on track in the same night. A couple of good offensive threats from the outside for the Indians. Adam misses first free throw, lines up for a second, 5:18 left to go in the third. 23-point lead, now 22-point lead for Opie. There's that full court pressure, Keith. They get it inbounds, trap. Still down at half court as they break the pressure, but good pressure by the Indians. Soyez with it all the way to the rim. Feeds it underneath the Holting. Boy, that should have been a travel. Bernard, three-point shot. And he gets the roll, and he makes another one.
You're right. Boy, they're gifted with the rim. Boy, they just find a way down.
5 3-pointers by Bernard. Hasn't missed. So I know he might be a good shooter, but he can't be that hot every night. Good drive by Lemons. Gets a little 10-foot shot from the baseline. A token full court pressure now by the Indians as Soyez brings it down. Dent picks him up at the elbow. Now Bernard pull up shot from the free throw line.
Wow.
And he just stays heated up and buries another two. 48-23, 25-point lead Albertini with the basketball, feeds it to Lemons. Oh, good snag by Dent. Back to Lemons, three-pointer on the way, long, no good.
Wow.
Bernard with the rebound. 4:11 left to go in the third, 48-23. So it with the ball, Soyez with the ball, and it's going to be a foul underneath on Lemons as good feed into Derek Holting, and he'll go to the line and shoot two.
Looks like a little bit of frustration there on Lemon's part.
4:03 left to go in the third. Opie looks to extend their lead, and does. It's up to 26 as Chase Bradshaw checks in for Aiden Smith. 49-23. As Holting settles in for his second, it's on its way and right through there. 50-23, 27-point lead for Opie. Albertini with the basketball. Feeds it off Chase Bradshaw, left wing. Bradshaw feeds it out to Lemons. And that is a double dribble.
I wonder if that was going to happen.
He caught the ball, he ended up bouncing it and caught it, and then stood there like he was going to throw it, pass it, waiting for somebody to come open, and then start dribbling. And it was a double dribble, and they did call it. So Robert into the game for Opie. He handles the basketball against Lemons. 27-point lead for Opie. Feeds it off to Bernard. He drives into the lane, kicks it out to Robert. He passes on the three. Nice pass inside, but it's stolen away by Chase Bradshaw. Now Albertini streaks down the floor all the way in, poked away. And it's going to be out on Opie as Holting pokes it away from Albertini, but he was standing out of bounds when he did so, as Albertini will put it in play from under the Indians' basket. Feed up top to Chandler Bradshaw. Hands up back to Albertini. Back to the Lemons.
Got walked there too.
3:14 left to go in the third. 27-point lead for Opie. Chase Bradshaw with the basketball. Step back three-pointer by him. Off the backboard, no good. Controlled by Opie. Robert with the basketball for Opie. Whip inside, good pass to Holting. Misses his shot. Rebound comes out to the Indians and Bradshaw. Bradshaw across half court, back to Albertini. Three-point shot from the right wing. In and out, no good. Bernard with the basketball as Ivan Murillo comes to the scores table for the Indians. Bernard puts the move on Bradshaw, kicks it out to Holting. Now back out to Colby Holting. He puts a move on Chase Bradshaw. Layup good. Drove right past Chase Bradshaw. Bradshaw with the size advantage and scores with the left-handed layup.
He just powered his way through.
2:21 left to go in the third. Lemons with the basketball. Feeds it off to Albertini. Albertini feed to Dent. Dent at the elbow, inside the elbow. Back and Holting down in front of the rim. Shot up good. Has a size advantage against Colby Holting. Good move by Dent to back him down in front of the rim and get it to go. 52-25. 1:55 left to go in the third. Bernard with the basketball. Dribbles past a couple Indians inside the elbow. Shot up, no good. Rare miss by Bernard. Albertini drives around a couple players, streaks down the right-hand side of the floor, puts a move on, feeds it to Dent. Dent spin move, shot with the right hand, no good. Rebound controlled by Holting. Colby Holting, 2-on-1. Bounce pass into Holting and layup good. The Lemons with the basketball, 1:25 left to go in the third. Timeout, Coach Watrick. It's going to be a full timeout, so we'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse here in St. Paul, where St. Paul getting beat by Opie 54-25, 122 left to go here in the third period. St. Paul basketball coming out of the timeout. Albertini with the basketball for the Indians. Fed off the Lemons in the game for the Indians. Murillo into the game. Chase Bradshaw, Caleb Lemons, Adam Albertini, and Chandler Bradshaw. Spin move by Chase Bradshaw. Turnaround left-handed shot's good. A little 7-footer. Good move by Chase. Robert back down with Opie. Feeds it off, and that's going to be a foul. A push against Chase Bradshaw. Nope, it's going to be on Chandler Bradshaw. Excuse me. Foul on Chandler. His second, third-team foul on the Indians. 54-27, Opie's lead. Whole team set to put the ball in play for the Eagles. Little jump shot from the baseline, wide open down the baseline is Skolaski, and he scores for Opie.
That was too easy. I don't know where St. Paul's defense was there.
Lemons off to Chandler Bradshaw. Tries to feed it into traffic, into Chase, stolen away by Holting. He pushes the ball down the floor, 1-on-3, and he still scores as he splits the defenders and scores the layup. Albertini with the basketball from left wing. Back up top to Chandler Bradshaw. Feeds it back to Albertini. Murillo sets a screen. Back to Murillo. Tough shot up good off the
contact
backboard.
on that.
Pick and roll. Albertini to Murillo. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Rediker with the basketball. 3 seconds. Stolen away by Lemons. Shot at the buzzer. Three-pointer. No good. And to start the fourth quarter, the score will be 58-29. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. This St. Paul basketball on Hot 105.
Their shooting percentage is up 37%. 37% now.
Okay, that'll be fine. Welcome back to Billy Fager Fieldhouse here in St. Paul. Start of the fourth quarter. Opie will have the basketball. Not all you can do here, Keith, is keep playing hard and try to chip into this Opie lead, but the Indians can't put this game behind them quick enough, as it is shown about everywhere as they've been outplayed by Opie so far, 58-29. Opie, great ball movement. Layup good, as great ball movement as Colby Holting was wide open under the basket off the ball movement. And he scores a layup to give Opie a 31-point lead. Lemons lobs it in to Dent. Good pass. Dent's shot partially blocked. Gets his own rebound. Put back no good, but he'll go to the line to shoot two. So no school this week with all the holidays between Christmas and New Year's. Here on Friday, no school this week. The Indians go back on Monday, but they put this game in on the scheduled Friday night game as the Indians traveled up to Opie last year, now play at Opie at home. Well, if Opie will be back on the schedule next year, it's usually a 2-year rotation. We'll have to see. But the Indians, without going to school here, play on a Friday night, and then we'll roll right back into school and basketball. Hopefully that gets them back in rhythm, girls and boys. Girls played hard tonight against the Opie girls. Pretty good showing by them. Opie led the whole game, but it was a pretty close game. Good hustle by the Indians, a little full-court pressure. Albertini streaks back, feed down, cross-court feed, three-point shot, no, two-pointer on the way. No good. Hayden Smith with the rebound. He streaks down the left-hand side all the way to the rim. Layup, good. And it's a block, so he'll go for the and one. Good hustle by Hayden Smith. Still playing hard. streak down that left side, and number 22 gets called for the block. That's Dawson Soyez, and it was a block as he kind of slid up underneath Hayden. As Hayden goes to the line for the and one. On the floor, Rediker, Holting, number 11 in the game, Nolan Rediker, and then Soyez for Opie. It could have been a foul on Hayden Smith. It's back up top to Holting. Bounce pass poked away by Albertini. Hustling hard, whips it inbounds. It's going to be on the floor. How's that not a travel? Good hustle by the Indians. Playing hard here in the fourth quarter. Commend the Indians for playing so hard. Still hustling. Needed some of this energy early on in the ball game. Well, it's good to see them still playing hard here and trying to create some turnovers, and they do, and it's out on Opie, and it'll go back to the Indians. Got a running clock, so this game's going to be over with pretty quick. 5:24 left to go. See if Coach Wartrick goes to the subs. I know he want to try to get a little offensive time and game time playing here. Good move by Dent on the ball fake back to the middle and then down to the baseline. Gets it off the backboard and scores. Hopefully the Indians find a little rhythm. Oh, right to the rim goes number 20, Rediker. Good in-lap pass, and they hit him, and he scores. Adam Albertini's shot no good, knocked out of bounds. It's going to be out on Smith, I think, and go back to the Eagles of Opie. 4 subs into the game for Opie. Number 25 is Wiley Rediker. 31 is Ted Skaliski. Roberts, Bernard, and 31. Last sub, number 25, Rediker, I think. Robert with the basketball. Poked away from behind. Dent comes out there with it. Feeds it head to Albertini. He streaks down all the way in. Splits the defender, but he misses it too hard off the backboard. Robert right back down with the basketball for Opie. 4:11 left to go in the game. Loses the ball is Nolan Rediker, but he gets it off to Bernard before he gets the travel call. Bernard pushes off a little bit. Now it's stripped away. Dent comes out there with it. That was caused by Albertini.
I think the
Albertini cross-court pass to Lemons. He loses it, picks it back up towards the baseline. Picks up his dribble, feeds it back up top to Albertini. Now Dent with the spoon move. Left-handed shot off the back iron, no good. Easy Hayden, as Hayden Smith's going to get called for the foul. 14th foul on the Indians. Hayden still playing hard, but he tried to wrap around number 31, Skaliski there, and got too much of him. That's his 3rd foul, 4th team foul on the Indians, as Chandler Bradshaw checks back in for Chase Bradshaw.
Well, like you say, it's nice to see him hustling. They could be hanging their heads, and but they're not. You know, they're still playing.
Bernard, big games coming up, league games coming up. And this is a big game, good competition for the Indians. Whistle away from the ball. Is that going to be Smith again? It is Hayden Smith with his 3rd, 5th team foul on the Indians. But Uniontown and rolls right into a lot of league games as we start back to school, key. So big games, league games coming up for the Indians. You know they're going to want to play better there.
Play a little more mean like this. I mean, I don't like to see somebody foul out, but.
As Opie with the basketball is Rediker with the basketball. Tipped away by Dent. Dent with the steal. Dent down the right-hand side. See what the call is.
That's a charge.
They did call a charge on Dent.
Wow.
And I thought number 11 kind of slid up underneath him, but either way.
He had the position at all.
View was blocked there for a little bit. A little full-court pressure by Indians. Not a lot. Little token pressure. And they're going to call for the walk. Number 25 gets called for the walk. Rediker. 2:13 left to go in the game. 62-35. Opie leads big. Number 42 checks into the game. Eli Forraker, a sophomore for Opie. St. Paul with all the Albertini, Lemons, Dent, Chandler Bradshaw, Hayden Smith in the game. Good shot by Lemons. Get the score. Rediker with the basketball. Off down to the wing. Number 13, Noah Clark Jr. into the game. Fed back up top to Rediker. 3-point shot by him. Good. 1:32 left to go in the game. 65-37. Stick around for our post-game show with Keith will have all the final game stats here after a short break after the game as Dent spin moves, foul on Opie. Dent will go to the line to shoot 2. As he lines up with a little over a minute left to go in the game. Easton lines up for his first. It's long off the back iron, no good. Dent kind of been held quiet this year, kind of finding his stride here in the fourth quarter. A lot of good moves by him. Indians are gonna need him to come alive offensively a little bit underneath with some rebounds and post play, as well as the Bradshaw boys and Hayden Smith. Indians could be well rounded if they just get a little more production besides Lemons and Albertini. Albertini has been held pretty quiet so far this year too, but tonight's been a good sign of him coming back to life a little bit. Back-to-back threes by number 11, Nolan Rediker, the junior.
Yeah, they're not forcing themselves underneath for the rebounds. That's the problem.
Albertini with a pull-up two-pointer is good, and a steal by Lemons as Coach Wartrick sticks with his starters throughout this fourth quarter. 68-42 is going to be our final score. Opie is going to come out with back-to-back victory, girls and boys, as Keith will have all of the St. Paul Indian post-game stats after this 1-minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105.